Hi everybody, straight into a video here, no messing around. So given the channel is on health and fitness and that I've seen this argument and debate going on this past few weeks with a cover size model called Tess Holliday, who appeared on the front of Cosmopolitan magazine, and the debate and question that we're going to look at today is twofold. Is it healthy what they're doing, and is it healthy to depict that image in society for other people to see in the same way that we would put a slim cover model on the front of Cosmopolitan, and the wider implications of what sort of precedent that's setting for people who look and view at these magazines and think that that's okay to be overweight, and actually whether that can be healthy. Can you have a fit and healthy person? So coming up, those two things. So I want to have a look at this topic. Let's have a look first of all who is Tess Holliday. So according to this, Tess Holliday is formerly known as Tess Munster. She's an American plus size model based in Los Angeles. So she is a model that is larger than your normal model, and she's a plus size model, so probably does modelling for bigger size clothing, and I found out that she's actually a size 26. Now what is particularly interesting is the debate that took place on GMTV and This Morning, and all these different things got Cosmopolitan more press that ultimately did more benefit for them, whether or not they did care about whether this lady Tess Holliday was fit or not. Now Piers Morgan, in his usual journalistic style, was ostracising the editor of Cosmopolitan and the idea of putting someone that is overweight in the same way that you wouldn't put anyone that was anorexic on the cover, saying that it is completely wrong. Let's take a look at that.
Well, you haven't answered it.
I have answered it.
Do you think that is healthy to be 300 pounds at 5'3"? Yes or no?
For her, from what I have seen, yes.
No,
Could somebody else at 300 pounds be unhealthy? Absolutely.
20 doctors would tell you it's not.
No.
So the issue I've got there is the editor of Cosmopolitan is coming out and saying, for her, that is healthy. Piers Morgan says, do you think that is healthy? And she's saying that she does think that's healthy. Now, that is a really irresponsible comment and a really irresponsible remark that she's made for a number of reasons, actually. When you look at obesity in the country, according to the NHS, the official government figures for the NHS, the obesity crisis costs wider society £26 billion annually. These are official figures. And finances alone, when you're looking at that as a entity, you've got to accept that actually, why is it costing so much money? It's costing so much money because of the health implications. If you look at some of the health implications of obesity just on the NHS website, it's pretty alarming. Type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, certain types of cancers, breast cancers, bowel cancer, stroke, in addition to the psychological impacts and problems such as depression, low self-esteem, all those different types of things. And you might say that low self-esteem and mental health and depression are all societal constructs that are formulated over a period of time through society not accepting certain extremes, whether that is extremely thin people or extremely large people. But the consequences of being overweight and being obese are severe, and I'm just telling you how it is in terms of the facts and the figures. My own personal judgment on thoughts on it are that, yeah, it's absolutely unhealthy, and that you should not promote people being on the front of covers such as Cosmopolitan, controversial as it may be, and you shouldn't be promoting this type of behaviour in the same way that you shouldn't be promoting extremely thin physiques, and you shouldn't be promoting anything that is an extreme. Got to boil it down to the crux of the matter, which is actually Cosmopolitan have done this because they have seen, I've seen a video on Russell Brand on this talking about that ultimately the ROI or return on investment of having this individual Tess Holliday on the front of the cover is positive. So they've done the maths and they've done the figures, and ultimately do they actually care that they're promoting better body image, promoting better self-esteem for younger, more overweight people? No, not really, I wouldn't think so. And actually they would have been much better in addressing it through a different measure, which is actually trying to fight and combat childhood obesity, obesity in adults, and obesity in the nation as a whole.
Incredibly frustrating because unfortunately all of my successes are always drowned out by the fact that people have horrible things to say about me just simply existing.
Philip Schofield's going to go on here to talk about a positive response, and Tess Holliday's talked about a negative response to body image and the way that overshadows everything that she does. But I've got to say that actually, as an individual, we need to be more responsible about the way that we're portraying ourselves, especially if we are in the main limelight, we are famous, we are a public figure, because I'm not saying you can't be fat, right? I'm not saying you can't eat what you want and not exercise and be unhealthy. But what I am saying is that you shouldn't promote and advocate that that is acceptable for other people to be in society. And what I'm also saying is that remember that with obesity and with being overweight come severe consequences that have negative impacts on your health and that have negative impacts on the rest of society as a whole. Now, that's not just to say that actually being obese and fat is actually an issue. There are health consequences and health issues with being overweight in general. So even if you have a bigger muscle mass, if you look at someone like Ronnie Coleman, or you look at someone, particularly Ronnie Coleman's a good example, being overweight puts more stress on your frame, osteoarthritic conditions, and various other factors are going to impact you, whether you're overweight and fat or whether you're overweight and muscly. Does your risk of type 2 diabetes go up if you are overweight and your diet isn't correct, even if you are not obese and really fat? Yes, it does. And I think lastly, we've got to look at, can you actually be fit and fat in whole as a general? Well, studies actually have shown that you cannot be past a certain point what is deemed as fit, and you cannot be fat. But what you can do is you can make a change and you can make a difference. What you cannot do is use obesity and being overweight as an excuse for you not to do exercise, as an excuse for you not to get your body under control and for you not to achieve the results that you want. There is people out there that have done it, and there is people out there that are doing it right now. So if you are overweight and you want to make that change, then make it happen. I'm not saying it's easy, I'm not saying it can be done quickly, but what I'm saying is it's within your control and it's within your power to do it. Now, what people do with their own bodies is completely their own decision, but on the overarching question of whether actually it's right or wrong, I'm going to say that really we should not be promoting this kind of front cover, this kind of setting this kind of precedent for people, and what we should actually be doing is educating people more about how to be healthy, how to live healthy lifestyles, and ultimately how to make sure that you feel better and that overall you know how to look after yourself.